Hi, this is Colleen Irwin, and I'm here tonight with Randi Sands and Mackensie Murphy, and we're going to talk a little bit about reading, mediumship, and dog grooming. So, Mackensie, we're going to start with you, okay?
Sure, yeah.
You are a very well-known dog groomer in the industry, right?
I am, yeah.
And aren't you on the Groom Team USA travel team?
I am. I'm on Groom Team USA. This was supposed to be my third travel team. We were supposed to go to the south of France and bring home our second gold medal in a row with our dream team. But unfortunately COVID. So yeah, it's on hold, but I am on Groom Team USA and we're kind of like chomping at the bit to get back to real life.
So correct me if I'm mistaken, at some point, weren't you ranked #1 in the world?
So last time we went to Worlds, we were in Italy. We were in Verbania, Italy, we're in Belgium. And so we compete, but we're ranked individually amongst 25 different countries. And so with my American Cocker Spaniel, I was ranked #1 in the whole wide world, which is ridiculous and amazing. And like, I don't even know how that's real life, but it is.
Might have something to do with the fact that you're really good.
I know. I guess I'm really good at what I do. Like, I don't know. It just happened, honestly. Like, apparently I'm really good at this.
Well, wait a second. She's had some great people around her. Her mother was also fabulous and still is. And she's had a lot of great groomers from when she was real young.
Oh, before I was ever even a groomer. I have been lucky enough to never pay a dime for my grooming education, but I have had it on a silver platter. And I always tell everybody that, like, I'm lucky and thank God for Jody Murphy, because without her, like, I could have never afforded to learn all the things that I know now. So I've had like a large group of stage moms over the years, which is where Randi comes in.
So
one of the many stage moms.
So Mackensie, how well did you know Randi before you got a reading from her?
I've known Randi at shows, like from being around, and I always call myself a fruit fly. Like I am so comfortable surrounded like by the gay lesbian, like, you know, that community. Like my brothers and my best friends and my uncles and my cousins, and like I am so comfortable. So I'm like their honorary fruit fly. And so like Randi, with everything she did, Randi, what was your group that you did on Facebook?
Oh, we still have it. It's LGBTQ Groomers Network.
And I not the first one that was ever allowed in the group that didn't belong there?
There were a few, because in the beginning it was open, and then the group decided to close it. So the people that were there, that were supporters, we allowed them to stay.
Honorary members.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Randi is she's just like one of those like kindred souls that, you know, you run into wherever you are. And like in trade shows, for me, trade show, it's so intense, right? Like my mom is there and my best friends are there, and my, you know, like I've just got all these people who've watched me through my career on different levels for a different amount of time. And so to me, my connections at trade shows are super important, because I'm such a head case and my anxiety is so intense that like I need to find those people that like make me calm and center me. And Randi was always one of them, I feel, even though like Randi in the beginning, like we never really had like a conversation of substance. Like every time I saw you in passing, like I always like loved to say hi to you, and I definitely spent more time with you than I would do with just like the other people that I know that come and go, you know? But like I always felt like I could sit there and talk to you. Like you just like, you know, it was just like I'm just gonna spill my beans and I don't know why, because she doesn't want to know the beans that I'm spilling on her. So I would just find her and connect her to her. So she was like a friendly acquaintance, I feel like, you know, at trade shows, and we weren't really close and you didn't know much about my personal life in the
I
beginning.
never did. It was more like a, hey, sweetheart, how are you doing? Take time and breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Because she would see me walking by her like, tell me I'm okay. Okay.
So
So
that was pretty
Mackenzie,
much.
oh, I'm sorry, I cut
No,
you
no,
off.
that was, I was just
Mackenzie,
saying that was pretty much it. You know,
Yeah.
we just high and by.
Yeah.
okay. So Mackenzie, what was the reason you first contacted Randi about a reading?
Well, so what happened was so well I've known that Randi does this kind of thing for a while, and a couple of my good friends, you know, are their frequent Randi, like I'm gonna call her in the morning, I'm gonna call her after work, I'm gonna call her when I think I fell in love with a boy from California and see if it works out or not, you know? And so I'm like, okay. Well, and I knew all of that, but I was like, I don't want to bug her, you know, so I never did until so what happened was over the summer, my mother moved from New Jersey to Florida, and so she has this indoor outdoor cat. And I'm sure if anybody's watching that knows who Jody Murphy is or is friends with her on Facebook, you saw the saga. Okay. So this cat, she flew from New Jersey to South Dakota to live with me because she was afraid that it would get eaten by alligators in Florida. So I don't want a cat, but I took the cat because I love it, and so does Oliver, and so does my mother, and so does everybody in our family. So we took it and we did all the things the right way, indoor, outdoor, and then one day she didn't come back, right? And it was so bad, and so my mom flew to South Dakota to find the cat who was lost, and so like I don't know, I mean, like any normal mother daughter relationship, like when she was flying to South Dakota, I was like, I can't. I called Sam and I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead to Angela Cumpy's house in Arkansas to take like a creative grooming lesson, and like I'll come back when my mom goes home. Sorry, Sam. And so, and that's what I did. And so, like, and I talked to Eric Chassie, my good friend Eric Chassie, on the phone that morning when I was driving to Arkansas. I literally packed up and I drove to Angela Cumpy's house. And so I called Eric on the way and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This cat, like, I have to find her. I feel so bad. And he was like, call Randi. And I was like, I know I should. But like the thing is that I have a lot of other things going on in my personal life. And like I'm really afraid to call her because she's gonna want to talk to me about all of that. And I don't really want to talk to her about any of that at all. Like, you know, when you have so many things going on and like you have that one friend that knows everything and you don't want to call them because they're going to be like, you're okay, you're wrong. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And like, that's how I felt. So I knew I needed to call her to find this cat, but I was scared. And so, but that's how it happened. So I ended up calling her that morning. I was driving from South Dakota to Arkansas to Angela Cumpy's house as my mother is on a plane from Florida to South Dakota, right? and and that's why I called her and she answered the phone and I was like, "Hey, Randi," and I just wanted to ask if she knew where the freaking cat was. And and she said when she answered the phone, she was like, "What are you doing? And what's going on in your personal life?" And I was like, "No, no, no, Randi, we're talking about a cat."
No,
Like,
we're not.
I was like, I don't want to talk about anything else, only a cat. That's it. And it was just Randi, how long were we on the phone?
I don't even remember.
It was forever. I probably got through like 3 states. And at the end of the whole saga, like we found the cat.
So
Well, I told her, I said, depending on how much work you put into it, you'll find the cat.
And we
And they did. They ended up finding her.
So Randi, how did you feel when Mackensie reached out to you after all of this time of just knowing each other? Hi, breathe.
I enjoy hearing from Mackensie. I enjoy her personality. You know, we're both Taurians, so we're kind of, you know, wild children, so to speak. I was a little surprised because, you know, I kept mediumship my best kept secret for a very long time, especially in the dog grooming world. See, Mackenzie's known for breed standard grooming. I'm known for creative. I'm known for the short haired coat carving, you know, like carving patterns into short coated dogs. Um, so eventually I kind of outed myself in the grooming industry. And, you know what it's like when you come out as a medium, you know, you're worried about how people are going to react and respond to you. So she called and I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. This is lovely, you know? And it was kind of funny because she asked about the cat and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what we need to talk about. We need to talk about this over here. And she's like, and I'm like, yeah, girl, we need to talk about this over here.
It was not nice.
It was nice.
Mackensie, what stands out in your mind about that first contact, other than the fact that she wanted to talk about things you didn't want to talk about?
So it just felt like, you know how, I mean, think back to like when you're a little kid, right? And like you're going to your parents with something that like they already know everything about, right? And so like you're walking in blind. You kind of know that like they know everything and like you're a little scared, right? And like that's how like I feel like I knew more about Randi and her readings than I actually did going into it. And like I really didn't know much, but like that's how comfortable it felt. Like it felt like I knew exactly what I was walking into. Like I was going into a situation, in a conversation, in a phone call that like normally I wouldn't want to talk to anybody about. Like I would bail out on counselor appointments to dodge talking about some of this stuff. But like I wasn't nervous and I wasn't scared, and it was just like it just was natural. It was like when you call up your best friend and tell them about like a new, something that just happened, like in a situation that's been going along where like they have hour by hour play by plays. You know what I mean? That's how comfortable it was talking to Randi about things that like she had no idea about. It was just so comfortable. It was crazy. It was crazy. It felt like I was calling my best friend. Like I was pulling my phone away from my ear like Nadia, is that you? Like that she knew everything and I didn't even tell her anything. It was crazy.
So what happened with the cat? How fast did you find the cat?
Jode, she found that, I think she took that first trip and then she went back to Florida and then she came back. So the cat was found within, I mean, I ended up getting quarantined at Angela's house for like
It was like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks. It was like 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
And that's awesome. And so you've obviously had subsequent interactions with Randi. How has it made you feel over time?
It's really comforting. Like, I mean, and I kind of, I don't know. Like, it's almost like it's so comfortable. Like, my conversations with Randi are so comfortable that like I almost feel bad sometimes because like I don't know if like our conversations on the phone like should have ended like an hour ago, like if she's capping me, or if like a 4-hour conversation is normal. Like she's just become this amazing sounding board for me. Like, COVID, this whole year is really hard, and like the kind of life that like we're used to is intense. Like, we for the last like decade or two, we've been going to trade shows like at least once a month. if not more often. And our best friends don't live where we live. Our best friends are from different states and different countries. And like, because of COVID, we've been ripped of like our normal, like COVID affected, you know, teachers and people who like stay in town a certain kind of way. But I feel like people who are used to traveling, like we got hit kind of harder. Like it just ripped our normal out from underneath us. And like it's a lot. There are a lot of things that have just been stripped away, and like you're left here with like, and I feel like there are a lot of like people in our industry who like feel the same way that I do and are in the same situation. Like we're used to seeing so many people, like we're used to interacting, we're used to teaching, we're used to like hugging and seeing people smile because like they can stand like 2 feet away from us and listen to our joke and laugh. Like we don't have that now. And like it's kind of like earth shattering. And with Randy, like because of COVID and how like wrecked like this whole time has made me, like Randy has really truly helped me like just stay focused and like give me a new kind of focus and a new kind of clarity that like I turns out was covering up this whole time with my career and with my industry and with my travel. Like this whole COVID to 2020 year it's just, I think it's made everybody like just get slapped in the face with reality, like things that we're not doing enough of, things that we're doing too much of, things that we're overlooking. And like, it's a lot. It's a big roller coaster of highs and lows. And like being able to talk to Randy through the whole thing. And like, yeah, it started with my mom's cat, which is a silly, funny conversation. And like, we loved the cat and it was so hard and we found her, thank God. But like more than just that, like I have talked to Randy multiple times a week, like through this whole thing, and like she's really helped me get through like the darkest of dark times for me that I've ever been in. She's helped me figure out like where I'm going, because like my whole world has been like changed. So like I don't know which end is up. Like half the time I don't even know what my name is, and like and Randy not really like, like I love her to death. Like she feels like a deep, like long term, like best friend of mine. But like in reality, before our readings, like we weren't very close. She didn't know much about me, but like that's like the kind of space that I hold for Randy, just because of like how connected that like her and I have become. And this is like all with Randy talking to me.
But let me just say, Mackenzie had an advantage because we have history. I can't do that with everybody.
Oh, sorry.
And I no, and I enjoy, and I feel like we've built a fabulous friendship through this. And she's growing a lot, which is fabulous to watch.
Yeah, but Randy, don't like discredit yourself. Like you, like yes, we have like a past, like we knew each other before like a reading. But like think about it, Randy, any of the things that like we've talked about in the last like 3 months that we've been doing our readings, anything that we've discussed in the last 3 months, have we ever talked about before?
Well, no, I'm just saying, and no, we haven't. I'm just saying I can't give everybody that kind of time. We have history,
Oh,
and
oh, yes, and
I
I'm
make the time.
extremely
So Randy, how
Yes.
has this changed your relationship with Mackenzie?
Oh, huge. Huge. I mean, she's got a mom, but I kind of feel like I've taken her under my wing, so to speak. Um, and it helped that there was history, from going to the dog grooming shows and, hey, sweetheart, how you doing? Don't forget to breathe. Those kind of things. It made it like a bridge to really expand that friendship.
Right. When Mackenzie reached out to you, it was about a missing cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did it evolve into more that she needed to hear?
Oh, it's like the cat's fine. Depending on how much you want to put into it, you'll find the cat. But let's talk about this over here. We got to talk about this. And she's like, what? How did you know that? Nobody knew that. And I'm like, well, let's just talk about it. And she said, okay.
So what stood out to you about that first interaction?
Are you talking to me or Mackenzie?
Randi.
Wow, that first interaction. Well, first I was a little shocked, that she was contacting me, but it was amazing. And it showed me that the work that I do with the people that I've worked with on this level in mediumship in the industry, that they do take me seriously. They do take the mediumship gift seriously. They have seen how it works, and and people think I'm special, but you as a medium, Colleen, yourself, that we're not any more special than anybody else. Every single person can do this. They just don't know how to tap in. And that's why we teach. So it was nice.
So were you at all concerned about how Mackenzie would react to the stuff that you started talking about in her personal life?
No, because I know Mackenzie well enough, which wasn't well, but I know by watching her and seeing her that if she had an issue with it, she'd be like, that's off limits. So I knew that, because we're both pretty straightforward people. So I knew if it was something she wasn't comfortable with, she'd tell me.
Well, we've heard what Mackenzie took away from this. Randi, what's the biggest thing that you took away from this whole reading that you did with the cat and her personal life and the like?
Really?
Yeah, I know. I asked about that.
Something that I already knew, but it was kind of neat to see it in real time, which is the friendships that can be built. Like, we became friends through mediumship. I don't even know how many years ago, but you're another medium. And it's amazing to see it work on the other end of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always wanted to be closer with Mackenzie at shows and stuff, but being on her level, most people can't even imagine what it's like. Like, sometimes you're bathing your dogs at 3 a.m. because that's the only time slot you can get to prep your dogs. I remember being with Pina and bathing a Carrie Blue at 3 o'clock in the morning one
that's
night.
My normal alarm.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. That's normal. That's cocker day.
So, right?
Yeah.
So when you're at shows, especially with somebody on Mackenzie's level, the reason I told her to breathe is because they're running. I mean, it's like jing, jing. They're like balls in a pinball machine.
Yeah, we live on Red Bull and coffee.
And it's for 2 days. So there really wasn't the time to get to know each other on a deeper level. So it was nice to see that through mediumship, we were able to get there.
That's awesome. So, Mackenzie, are we going to see you at the Monday night spiritual group meetings?
Hey, why not? Listen, I'm all ears for all this stuff. It's super intriguing, and I've always been into it, and I don't know. I feel like it's a really cool thing to just stay open-minded to, what's the worst that could happen? If anything, it gives you clarity, and if you can get anything from anything, clarity is what I would go after first, you know? So yeah, absolutely. Why not? I'll for sure do it. Can we do it via Zoom?
Yeah,
We
it is
do
through
do them.
Zoom.
Yeah.
It's every Monday
We all have
night.
fun.
Yeah,
Well,
every
but like what else you do, Randy? Like we were talking the other night um about how like well, and what you guys were just saying, like how like anybody can like learn how to do this. And like what intrigued me when we were talking the other night was about like the whole like animal communication thing, which is different than what we've been doing, Randy, me and you talking, but that's kind of where it started and why I reached out to you. And like, you know, like you, of course, Randy, and then like we have one trade show in Houston that's like combined with a dog show, and there's like someone who like connects with animals that's usually there as well. And I know like myself and a couple of my girlfriends like a few years back have just toyed with that just because we were there and we had our
Mhm.
dogs and we had some downtime. But like talking to you and like listening to you say that like anybody can learn how to
Mhm.
do this, that's like kind of mind boggling. Like what do you mean you could learn how to do this? Like you're saying like that's like you Randy, you and Colleen talking like saying how like this is how that's why we teach.
Mhm.
Like that's how I talk
Right.
about dog grooming like with my
Right.
girl. That's why we teach. But we're teaching a skill where like you could take your hands and open and shut a scissor and learn how to do it. But like what you guys are teaching is completely different.
It's a skill too.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It really isn't that different. It's a skill. Okay. And the old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? It's practice, practice, practice. That's the same thing that happens with mediumship. The only difference between Randy and I and you is how much practice we've made
Well,
at it.
and it's kind of like the difference between a carpenter and an electrician. So, teaching grooming is like the carpenter. It's a seen skill. Versus the electrician, it's still a skill, but you don't see electricity.
Okay.
So it's still a skill.
So, do you put on any kind of courses or classes that like focus in like things with animals?
I absolutely do. I have one
Really?
starting in January, and I love it when groomers come in. My last class, I had a few groomers because
Well,
it's
yeah. Could you
it's
imagine?
well,
Could you imagine what that would bring to like the table?
it's really important. It's not just what it brings to the table, it's really important
Yeah.
because I work on a couple of levels with animals. One, as Colleen will tell you, I work with lost animals, which is why you called me.
Yeah.
Um, and as a matter of fact, I just worked with a vet that wrote an amazing review. But that's very important. That's vital to bring animals home. But more importantly, is we need a crap load more animal communicators because they have the ability to help keep animals in loving homes. I've met a lot of bad people. I haven't met a bad animal. I've met animals that were misunderstood, animals that didn't know what was expected from them, animals that were fearful, um, animals that were not trusting, what have you. But see, all those things can be worked on.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. And like Randy, I always say, this career kind of chose me. Like
Mhm.
I would rather, and I've done it before. Like the last salon I was working at, I was working with this girl. Her name was Ashley. We had like 7 groomers, but Ashley and I were like in sync. And like she had this puppy, itty bitty little puppy, first time haircut. It was completely done, and like she had like half of a face to do, and like this puppy was about to break her. She was about to cry, and this is like a hardcore girl. Like she doesn't cry, that's why I like her. I don't cry either. And so then I had this golden that it's been there for 2 hours. I haven't touched it. It hasn't had a bath. It's not dry, nothing. But I knew for a fact like this dog was gonna throw my back out. And Ashley was almost done with this little itty bitty pet, and I was like, dude, I'll trade you.
Yeah, I'll do the face. You take that.
He was like, absolutely. And I was like, yes. Okay, so right, so I have this little puppy and it's thrashing and it's like alligator rolling. It's a table shark for this girl. And like I go there and I touch the puppy and it stops.
Mm-hmm. And that's all it needed.
And so like that's why I've always said like this career chose me. Like I remember being a little girl with my mother as like the grooming icon that she is now, you know, and I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm never going to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And like, apparently, like, it just works. And everyone says you're so calm around the animals. Meanwhile, I like internalize everything. So internally, Randy, you know, I'm like, but outside. And so, like, if you can teach people like how to connect with them even more so than like our natural like demeanor with the animals, you know, like if you can teach us how to do more, like I feel like that would bring like our level of being animal professionals to like and just like skyrocket us.
Well, and you know, that's another good point is as groomers, it does help us because which I don't know if you know this, but aside from short-haired coat carving, my specialty was I dealt with difficult dogs. I took on all the ones that were labeled as biters because it was very easy for me. As a matter of fact, Melissa Verplank, I did a video for learntogroomdogs.com on difficult dogs. And yeah. I actually got bit that day. But
well, of course you did, because why would you not?
Right. But no, I do have an animal communication class starting I think January 17th, and I try to keep them inexpensive. It's like $250. And I have practice rooms starting in January, so you know that gives people plenty of practice. They can do rapid fire readings. I have a mediumship class starting in February. I haven't, that one's not up on the website yet, which is randysands.com.
So are these like beginner level? Like where would I go? What would
anybody, any level. I work with everybody on their own level.
So what should you do? Private message you on Facebook?
Yeah, you can do that. Or you can go onto the website. I know the animal communication class is already up. And the practice rooms, some of them are already up. We're loading everything up for the new year. And yeah, I mean, and as far as, you know, what else I do, like I said, I do mediumship, I do animal communication, and I work with lost animals. Colleen and I are part of a group that works with law enforcement for missing people and violent crimes to help solve.
Which is so amazing. Like the stuff you guys are doing with this is amazing.
There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And I know that's why I do it. Colleen, why do you do it?
For the healing, but more importantly, it's just, I'm drawn to it. It's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's like with the teaching, you know, we're constantly teaching. And I think that not everybody believes that that's what we should do. You know, there are a lot of mediums out there that kind of go, this is my stick. I'm not going to share any of it with anybody. And
we teach everything. We don't hold back. Neither one of us in our teaching style, we don't hold back. I'm not worried about competition down the road. I want my students to surpass me.
Me too. That's a good teacher.
My mentor taught me a long time ago that, you know, when you have your hand up reaching, you better damn well have your hand down, the other hand down, pulling somebody up on the ladder of success. It's just fair.
As a matter of fact, I like to have my students rise with me. You know, because I know who they are. I know what they're made of. I know what their abilities are. And, you know, Jack, that I do a lot with, came to me with zero experience and started a class, and Colleen, you know, she does great.
Yeah.
She does great. And her real name's Michelle Shull, and she's a groomer. But I named her Jack, which we won't get into why. But yeah, I mean, I can be found on the internet multiple ways, either Facebook. I would tell people if they want to friend request me, because I've seen a couple of them come in. I would tell you to go to the Facebook page, Randi Sands Mediumship Crew, because I know I looked at it yesterday and I was at 4,998.
I know, stupid Facebook,
And they
right?
cap you at 5,000.
I know.
So if anybody wants to be in touch with me, I'm constantly on that page. So just go to Randi Sands and the Mediumship Crew. That way, you know, you can get in.
And if there's anybody who doesn't catch that, you guys can friend me, either Mackensie Murphy or the grooming mentor. And if you want any more information about Randi or any of her, anything that like any of the classes or just any information about like what went on tonight, you guys can reach out to me as well.
And if anybody wants to learn how to dog groom, that's the girl
Oh
right
yeah, I can do that too.
there. That's the girl right
Anyone
there.
wants to learn how to talk to animals, I'll be doing that.
And
I'll
if you
teach
want
how
to talk,
groom before.
and if you want to talk to dead people, I can help you, but Colleen can too.
Colleen, yeah.
Well, I can
Colleen,
also,
how do we find you? Where are you out of?
I'm out of Rochester, New York. So yeah. So I'm in the western part of the New York State, you know, the part that everybody thinks doesn't exist, you know, beyond New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I have a website called talkwithcolleen.com, which basically is how I get out there and share things. So
Cool.
Colleen and I met, I don't know if it's when we first met, but we've worked the stump in Lilydale together. So I'll tell you, it takes a whole lot of cojones to get up in front of, what is it, Colleen, like 300 people and deliver messages? Stand up in front of 300 people and deliver messages. That it takes a whole lot of wherewithal.
That's so
to do
cool.
that. But it's fun. It's
That's
fun.
really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's all I got.
well, that's all the questions I have. It was lovely meeting you, Mackensie.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you on a Monday night in the discussion group.
Oh, I'll be there.
What's next week, Randi?
You know what? I just got home today. I was out of town, so I would have to look.
Well, I'm diving all the way in, Randi. So count me into all of the things, and then I'll get like a schedule and a list of like everything that like you guys all offer, and I'll put it up on my website. I'll put it up on the grooming mentor, and that way like if anybody else is interested, that's where I'm going to be. Like I'm so down. This has helped me like immensely just get through so many things, both like, you know, personally and emotionally, and just trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing right now, you know. So
you
count
know what?
me in.
And it just occurred to me, Colleen, you keep talking about Monday night, but we haven't really talked about what it is. So Monday night at 8:00 Eastern time, every Monday, we do a spiritual topic. Like sometimes we talk about spiritual pioneers and how they paved the way.
I think next week is spiritual pioneers, because this week was tarot.
No, it's the third Monday. I don't remember. The second and fourth Monday don't have a schedule. They're just topics. And I'll have to look and see what it is. But every Monday night at 8 p.m. we have a spiritual topic, and people can request a spiritual topic they want to go over. And if I don't know it, Colleen doesn't know it, trust me, we know people that do. And everybody comes in on Zoom, and we talk about it, and people can ask questions. They can share their experiences. It's kind of like a group chat. which is a lot of fun. And the way to get in, so you don't have to worry about contacting me, it's Zoom room 217-130-6247.
I'll put that in. I'll put
And
that in my post.
and the password is capital M, lowercase e, lowercase d, lowercase I, lowercase u, capital M. So it's the word medium with both the M's capital and everything else is lowercase in between.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, count me in. I'm excited.
You got it, sweetheart.
And I'm going to rally the troops. Go up.
Well, let's just get more groomers doing animal communication because,
absolutely,
you know, whether it's with me or anybody else, I don't care who teaches it. Let's get it done. We are all groomers because we love animals. If we love animals, let's help them.
It just makes so much sense, you know?
And let's help yourself with your job. Let's make it easier. If you can communicate with the animal, you're going to know why it's being a table shark. You're going to know why it's spinning. You're going to know why it's, you know, fussing. You're going to know why it's drooling profusely. You're going to know what's stressing it out. And then we can work with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes everything better. All right. And with that, Colleen, do you have anything else to add before we close out for the night?
No, thank you for calling me and asking me to be part of this.
Well, I don't think you should be surprised.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Appreciate it. And like Randi, everything that you brought into my life in the last couple months, like honestly, there is nothing that I could do to repay you for what you've given me in the last few months. I absolutely adore you for it all.
Yeah, you can. Just keep growing, girl. Just keep growing. You know, the amazing thing is that when we go through different changes, it's through the chaos that we do our growth, our spiritual growth. If we don't have chaos, we're fat and happy, so to speak. We don't have any motivation. And I tell people all the time, through the chaos is where you grow. But guess what? You get the privilege and the honor of meeting the new you on the other side. You're the first person to meet the new you.
And it's crazy. That's crazy. It's a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited and I can't wait to like show everybody that I can possibly show about like what you guys have to offer, because it's the best.
Thank you, doll. And much love to both of you.
Oh, Randi, I love you so much. And Colleen, it was so nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Well, let's say goodnight to the good people. Good night, good people.
Good night,
everybody.
Wishing everybody an amazing week.